following a significant announcement by Binance, the world's largest globalized centralized exchange, that XRP would reach a price of over $10,000, and that this would occur as soon as the next 2 to 4 months. XRP has seemed to glitch on a number of exchanges, with Binance experiencing the most glitches. Right in front of you is an image of XRP, which is presently trading for $47.99, or 4,809 euros. Huge figures, yet this was obviously a pricing error. In fact, Binance went so far as to declare in public that they had made the decision to buy XRP, and that, in the last few days, they had apparently bought over 31 million XRP. This is obviously a rumor, but it makes reference to the huge point that Binance itself believes in the $10,000 per XRP figure, which is similar to what Arthur Prischow, the former co-founder of both XRP and Ripple Labs, stated that XRP is designed for $10,000 and needs to be scalable to accommodate 7.5 billion people or the globalized population. Furthermore, the widespread adoption of XRP at the institutional, retail, and global central bank levels is already showing signs of this. Right now, XRP is trading at $2.33 per share. Naturally, the price of Binance also dropped back to $2.33. However, it's crucial to note that Binance did permit certain transactions to take place at the revised rate of 47,000 euros during the price problem time. Naturally, they continued to do that for a few minutes before stopping transactions, stopping withdrawals, and of course, bringing the price of XRP back to where it is at the moment. However, we do know why that transaction took place, and according to my research, it was caused by a massive supply shock that lasted only a short while due to Binance's purchase and the obvious mass purchases made by institutions after Binance announced that XRP would be $10,000. Now bear in mind that Ripple is repurchasing XRP on a daily basis as institutional investors demand additional XRP from the Ripple Net on-demand payment system. By itself, this is probably going to push XRP's price above $750 by the next year. Once more, these are the figures we are examining, and they make perfect sense. I had intended to save this for another video, but I have a huge surprise in store for you all. The XRP ledger will soon contain $640 trillion. In order to tokenize more than $654 trillion in real estate market value, RealFi is launching on the XRP ledger, which is really driving up the price of XRP to $6,540. It states that RealFi is intended to be the worldwide payment system for real estate that is built on the XRP ledger and will be created shortly. But consider how much money, or perhaps more accurately, how much XRP would be needed to make this happen, especially given that the island is based on the XRP ledger. How is Ripple going to finance the large amount of XRP that is required? To be honest, they don't have enough XRP to give in to a partner. As a result, they are compelled to repurchase XRP from private individuals and return it to institutional ownership. This is what is taking place, and it is occurring directly before our eyes. Before we go any farther in the video, I want to let you know that this is a fantastic opportunity for you to receive free XRP. I'm offering it to everyone because of our collaboration with Uphold, which enables you all to essentially receive money for nothing. Gentlemen, here is a once-in-a-lifetime chance for you to receive free XRP. It's really simple. All you need to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below that reads XRP subscribe. After doing all of that, you should proceed to Uphold my link, which is located in the description below. Sign up, Uphold using my link, and complete a transaction. You will receive up to $100 after that is finished, which you can use to purchase more XRP. Additionally, you may use that money to pay your bills, purchase any other cryptocurrency you own, or just take it out and do anything you want. Once more, this takes less than 5 minutes and is essentially free money. In particular, even if you want to simply log in, register, complete a transaction, and then leave the $100, don't pass up this chance. With that, purchase XRP and wait a year. Because you invested 5 minutes of your time, this money may potentially be worth $10, $20, or even $100,000 in a year or two. Therefore, whether you are sluggish or not, seize this chance immediately. Spend 5 minutes sending it from the poll, complete a transaction, and earn some XRP for yourself. Let's not forget that the Federal Reserve has already made the public announcement that XRP is likely to be used to seed the blockchain component of their FedNow payment system. This announcement was made following a number of meetings, including rumored meetings of Verbal Labs and the Federal Reserve meeting itself. Clearly, this is not a surprise. With Bitcoin and XRP in the forefront, the U.S. Federal Reserve launched a $68 billion cryptocurrency repurchase. Naturally, we witness this happening on a daily basis. An increasing number of institutions are joining the movement. More government representatives are coming forward to vouch for this material. In actuality, U.S. President Donald Trump has already stated publicly that XRP is a part of the cryptocurrency reserve and that they plan to retain a sizable cryptocurrency reserve that would primarily be made up of XRP. However, they fail to mention that it's more than simply the Federal Reserve. In other words, the Fed claims that banks are free to employ cryptocurrency and XRP. The implication of this is that all American banks are going to start utilizing XRP. As we previously learned, Bank of America has made the decision to join Ripple Labs and XRP and start utilizing XRP. Indeed, one of the officials officially stated that all transactions will finally be completed. XRP will be used in those transactions, but we're witnessing it on a global scale both in the US and abroad, where SBI Bank, the biggest bank in Japan, has declared that it will not only use XRP but also buy it back. In any case, let's continue by demonstrating that the U.S. Federal Reserve has declared that banks are free to use XRP. Let's start rolling the clip now. U.S. Guidelines on Cryptocurrencies. This is intriguing, folks, as the Fed said that it was rescinding supervisory letters that advised banks to obtain prior authorization from regulators before participating in stablecoin and cryptocurrency operations. Additionally, remarks from 2023 advising banks to exercise caution when it comes to crypto-related risks were withdrawn by the Fed, the FDIC, and the Office of the Controllers of the Currency. In a statement declaring his 2024 presidential campaign, President Trump assured cryptocurrency investors that he would support them if he were re-elected. In light of the most recent developments, the Fed stated that authorities would investigate the suitability of new guidelines to encourage the development of crypto assets. However, I believe that many of those letters deterred the financial sector from becoming seriously involved in cryptocurrency. Now that they're here, do as you please. This is the query. It's not necessarily an executive order that will be overturned because the Fed is the one doing that. I mean, assuming a new administration takes office in 4 years. However, once more, the politics of it likely reflects some anxiety about whether the tide will turn again in the future. Given that it's coming from the Fed, I suppose it's better. Although it sounded like some of it came from the administration, I believe that the Fed is responsible for some of it. I didn't comprehend. This was one of the pledges made during the campaign. Once more, companies simply dislike being swept away by administration changes that result in significant political shifts. I'm not sure if this implies that you'll suddenly go to your neighborhood Chase and start using Bitcoin. Bitcoin cannot be taken. It feels really different, I suppose. It does feel extremely different since cryptocurrency is becoming more and more accepted. Perhaps the banks would feel a little better if they could obtain more regulation of that kind. Look, Janet Yellen would constantly discuss the dangers of it with you during our interviews. Jamie Dimon would discuss the dangers